Hi, I'm Jay, and today I'm going to show you how to blow out your in-ground sprinkler system for the winter. Now, I can only show you what I have. I can't account for everyone's different plumbing, but the steps should be the same. Let's go take a look. So here is my sprinkler timer, and we're going to get into the various different ways of blowing this out. But before we do that, it's a good idea to test your sprinklers one last time before blowing them out for the winter. And the reason why is because you're usually either asleep because your sprinklers either go on overnight or they come on really early in the morning and it's too dark out for you to even see. So you want to make sure all of the heads work. So for my timer, I have an old school one. It's got these nice sliders. So I'm going to slide this all up to 2 minutes for all of the zones here, and then we'll initiate a manual start. There we are. Now with everything set at 2 minutes, we'll hit manual and enter, and it's on. Somewhere hidden in the bushes here are two heads. I can definitely feel water from one of them. I hear the other one and see a few drops from it, which is up in the corner there. I have a drip emitter over here. It's definitely dripping and emitting. There's a head in the corner over here. Another one in the bushes somewhere there, definitely spraying. And over here there is a head, and one in the corner. So I know my zone 1 is working right. Okay, very good. Here is zone 2 that's just come up. So we have a head here, a head over there, and the stream of water goes to this head here. I need to do a final mow here before everything is said and done for the season. Got to do a nice cleanup. This one has been beaten. It's by the curb, so it gets all kinds of stuff. It's leaking pretty bad. It needs replacement. It's missing the top and that. But all of these heads are getting old, but regardless, they are still working. So that's the main thing for right now. And zone 3 is coming up. So we got that. And there is a head here. And there should be another one around somewhere. I gotta find it. Here's the third head. You can see the water bubbling up and it's not popping up. So I'm gonna have to look at this one and see what the deal is and why it's not popping up. Zone 4 is doing fine. We have a head there and a head over here. And zone 5 is watering the car nicely. So that's good. That head is also leaking, but again, the water is going in the ground, just not exactly where I wanted it. And a head here. And there is a head there that's working for zone 6. One here and one here. And I believe that is it for 6. And there's one more zone. And zone 7, we have a head here. Should be one somewhere down here. There is. That's down there, if you can see. There's one here, just watering the fire pit nicely, so that's well. And should be one more over here. Probably here. Here it is. Never had trouble with the back heads, but like I said, these are getting old. So what I'm going to have to do is get in here with like a flat blade screwdriver usually, and that helps to pop them back up. This usually happens when the heads get old, and these are old and pretty much everything is slated for replacement soon enough. But for right now, we're getting by. So I'll see if I can fix those two heads. There we go. There's that head on zone 3. I just used a flat blade screwdriver just to pry it up, and then I just stepped on it, squash it down, and make sure a few times that it pops up. Sometimes all it takes is a little grain of sand or soil in there to make it not want to pop up. It gets bound up. And again, this is typically a problem as they get older, but it seems to be operating just fine now. So I think we should be good. Now let's fix the other one. I know some people need their hands held the whole way. That's quite all right. Just get in here with a screwdriver. There we go. Popped right up just to help it. This one is getting kind of beat up again because these heads are so old. Some of the top is broken, but you see when I step on it, it's coming back. So everything looks to be, for the most part, in order. Like I said, this whole system is slated for a refresh sometime soon. A question you may have: it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day. Why are you blowing your sprinklers out now? The reason why is it's basically the middle of October here, and while we are having a really nice warm day today, the other days just have not been, and there's very few days left that are going to be of very high quality like this. Do it on a nice day, because otherwise you're going to be out, it's going to be windy, it's going to be cold, you're going to end up getting wet, and it's going to be miserable by the end of it. Do it on a nice day. It's just so much more pleasurable to do it then. Your grass is going to be just fine. It's going to be winter very soon. It's not going to grow. Don't worry about it. Pick a nice day before it gets too cold. See, simple problems like that you can really do. You don't need to call your sprinkler guy for any of this. You really can handle it just as a homeowner. It's now time to blow them out. So we're going to go ahead and shut the water off. Here is the main water supply for the house, and that tees off and goes up and out to the sprinklers. There's a petcock there that we're going to open to drain it. Can't do that now because the water's still on, so we're going to shut that off right over here. Alright, before you open that, go outside to the spigot there. This is where the sprinklers come out. You can see the wire behind it, and I have a spigot here. So with the water off, I can open this now, and we get just a trickle of water come out of there. We're going to open that valve all the way like that, and the reason we're doing that is to allow whatever excess water out and allow air in, because we're going to be draining it down in the basement. So now we're going to go for that petcock there and turn that. You see how it has a little hole on there? That is going to allow it to drain. You may have a regular hose spigot, just like I showed outside, in your house. Different plumbers do this different ways. It's all going to do the same thing. But you now need to open that and let it drain out the line from that spigot outside back down to here. And there you see, water is going in the bucket. Now it's time to administer air to the system. Here's an old air compressor that I don't use anymore. Two reasons why. First of all, it stopped working. And the second reason why is because I have a much larger one. How big a tank do you need? This one was a 10-gallon, and to be quite frank with you, it was just enough for my system. You're always better going overkill. If you got one of these little jobs here, little 3-gallon, there's a 1.5 and a half-gallon one over there. These are all out of the leagues. There's no way anything like that is going to produce enough air. So you need 10, 15, 20, even 30 gallons or even more air. The bottom line is, the more the merrier. The more air you have, the better a job you're going to do, the faster it's going to go, and the more complete job you're going to do. Let me explain how all this works. Now, before I showed you what I have, which is a regular old outdoor garden hose spigot, and over here you see an end that would screw onto that. It's just a normal garden hose thread, and it goes onto this black hose, which at the other end of it is an air fitting. You need an air fitting to interface to your air. I use 1/4-inch fittings like this. So what I did is I took a female one, male one, screwed them together, and then jammed it in here and put a hose clamp on there. And that's it. Now air will blow in here through this hose and out there, which goes into the spigot, as you saw, and will blow out the appropriate zone of the sprinklers, so that way all the water gets out. Now you can do it just like this. You don't need anything else I'm going to show you, but I have two other items here that might be handy to have. What I have here is a regulator. Now over here, this has a gauge on it. The only reason I use this is not to lower the pressure You can if you want. I do it full chooch, the entire pressure that the compressor has. I've never had a problem doing it that way. If you want to do less, you can. You'll watch other videos, and all of those videos, you're going to see one that's going to tell you don't exceed 30 psi, don't exceed 40 psi, never more than 60. Well, your regular water supply should be no higher than 120, so you should only do 15 because that's all you need. And every single one of those videos is going to tell you it's the best way. There is no such thing as the best way. It's just a bunch of people giving their opinions, their ideas on it, and that's it. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Set it to whatever pressure you want, or forgo this entirely and just hook your air up and run it full chooch. The only reason I have this is because it has a gauge on it, so this way I don't have to walk all the way back to the compressor to see when it may be filled. I can just see the gauge on here, and that'll show me I have a full tank in case I can't hear it. One other thing I would recommend is a valve, an inline valve like this. So 1/4 inch fitting, male to 1/4 inch female, with the valve in between. This you can open either which way, as you see. So it goes 180 degrees all the way around. So it's off there, on there, off there, like that. And this is great because now you can administer the air slowly until it's fully on and ready to go. So now we're going to charge up the compressor, run an air line out, connect all of this stuff in, connect that hose to it, and turn on the first zone. Now if you see that green cover that's there, there's actually 2 of them on my system, and down in that is a pit where the valves are for the sprinklers. Sticking up off of those will be a solenoid, usually a black cylindrical thing, and you can unscrew those and that will turn the zones on. You're going to do one at a time because you don't have a big industrial compressor, just something that you would use for automotive or home use or anything like that. So you're going to do one zone at a time and then shut it and turn on the next. As you see, it's kind of in the bushes and inconvenient to get to where they put it. But in my opinion, there's a much easier way. Do it using your sprinkler timer. So on this one, it's as simple as zone 1. Put that slider up to manual on. And now, with the water supply turned off, there's no water. It's waiting for air. So let's go do it. So there's full pressure. Here's my air line from the compressor going into here just so I could see the pressure. The valve, like I said, into the adapter piece I made. Incidentally, you might be able to find these for sale, but I just like it being on a hose. It makes it a lot easier. And if you look down in there, it's connected to that spigot, which is of course still turned on. The valve for that zone 1 is turned on electrically. So now all we have to do is turn this on. Just go slow. And then you can open it up. You hear that air. So that's the water coming out, and then we're getting air, and the zone runs down this way. Starting to hear more stuff. We still have water here. Maybe you can see the droplets. So over here is not blown out yet, because we still have water in it. Now it's starting to get air, and over here, take a look. This is what you want to see, that mist. That mist is exactly what you want to see. This is all that water that's in the lines getting out. The idea is to minimize the amount of mist coming out. Now how long that's going to take and how many times you want to blast each zone, I do each of my zones twice. I've been doing this about 14 years now and haven't had any problem with it. So you can see one pop down, and we're starting to lose pressure here. And there's not much coming out. So we'll come back here and shut that off. And yeah, there's still pressure there. This is why I like to do full pressure, because if you're only going to be running like 30 or 40 psi, how much are you really going to blow out? So I'm going to let my compressor go ahead and recycle and get all the way back up to full pressure, and we're going to open this zone up for the second time and blow out any residual. It's that time again. It's time for physics class, that class that none of us did well in and was really all math. But the practical applications of it, the physical applications of it in the real world, where I thought the most interesting part of it and the reason why you want to do this and why it works. Here is a piece of PVC pipe. Now, we don't use PVC pipe in the ground here in the Northeast. We use black pipe instead, black flexible pipe. That's also plastic, but in some parts of the US they use PVC. It's the same either way. But when your system is pressurized and it's running for the summer in that, this whole pipe from the bottom all the way up to the top is filled with water. Now, we also know that when water freezes, it expands. If we cap that off and cap off the other end and then freeze this, that water has to expand. Where is it going to go if it can't come out the caps that we put on each end? It has to go somewhere. Nature does not put up with this plastic pipe being in its way, or even copper pipe being in its way. It's going to expand and crack the pipe, and that's why you want to blow this stuff out. Now, what if you didn't have it filled from the bottom to the top with water? What if you had an air buffer? What if it was only half full and the entire top half was empty? Well, then if it froze, yeah, it's going to expand, but it might go to maybe 3/4 and leave that and not be pressing out on the entire pipe like that, you know, trying to burst it. So that's the idea. You want to get out ideally 100%, but that's impossible. So you're going to get out 90% of it. There's going to be just like a trickle of water left in the bottom of the pipes. Just a little water, like if you see it just dribbling out like that kind of thing. And if that little river in there froze, who cares? What's that going to do to the pipe? Nothing. So you want to just do the best job you can. It's that simple. If you still got water gushing out of your heads, you're not done. Blast that zone again. Let's go hit mine again for the second run. Second blast, and this one you can open it a little faster. I like to still do it kind of slow, just to administer the air like that. All right, let's go back and see if we have any other mist. No, this zone is looking pretty good. And you'll also notice that the heads have not popped up. That's because the air itself can't make the heads pop up, because there's no head of water ahead of it that is trying to expand and burst the pipe. It's not there anymore. It's just solid air. And that's exactly what we want here. So we'll just let this tank go through, and then we're going to shut off the first zone, open the second, and blast that out. Zone 1, manual off. Zone 2, manual on, and we'll go blast that. Okay, nice full tank, zone 2. Do it slow. We'll come over here, and they come up with a vengeance. So there's all three. Nice rainbow. There we go. There's that mist again. We want to get rid of as much as possible of that. So there's the mist. The air is dying down. That one out by the street has died down already because it's the farthest. But this mist here, that's still water in the pipe. Keep going. Hit it again. Let it blast out as much as you can until you're satisfied. You don't have to get every last drop, but like I said, do the best you can. Zone 2, second blast. We'll go ahead and turn that on nice and slow. Come back and see what we get. And the answer is not too much. Nothing. But whatever popped up, there's no water vapor, no mist. Everything is looking good on this zone. So we're going to shut that down and open up the next one. All right, time for zone 3. Turn it on nice and slow. There we are. Head here. There's the one I fixed from before. And that one. So you can see how it's working again now. They just get stuck sometimes. Anyway, there's the mist. We want to get rid of as much as possible. And then after all this is done, I can mow what's left of this and be ready for next year. But still too much water in here. Pretty soon we're going to run out of air. Shut that and blast that for the second time. Okay, second blast of zone 3. Aha, some more water. The others are looking fine. So there was just a bit more. That's why I like to hit each zone twice and get rid of just as much as I possibly can. Okay, zone 4 is going on. I do this one really slow because there's only 2 heads on it. And there we go. Now it's fully on. We'll come over here. We have a head here and one against the fence. It's going to be a moment for them to pump out all their water. There we go. Now it's starting. This one is still full steam ahead as far as water goes. There we go. Now we're getting some air. Perfect. But you can see, still too much mist. They got to run for a bit. Zone 4, second blast. This head, no water. That head still has mist. So we need to wait until we blow all of that out, which I'm sure we'll get in this, because as you can see, it is mostly air, just with little wisps of water droplets. So we'll let that play out there. The strange sound that you hear are the sprinkler gods singing to you for all of the money you're going to be saving. They're horribly out of tune. Sometimes yours will sing, sometimes they won't. Nothing to worry about at all. It's just the diaphragms and the valves that sometimes do that. Okay, zone 5 now. Turn it on nice and slow. And here's a far one. This is in fact the farthest head on this zone. And there's still solid water. You gotta get that out. There we go. Now we're getting some air. So that's good. And over here we've already gotten some air. And this one is just chooching away here. That'll need some more work, more air go through. Not a big deal. We'll let this one go. Shut it down. Blast it for a second time. Zone 5, blast 2. Turn it on a little faster that time. Just air. Just air. And just air. Perfect. Now we'll go on to the next zone. Time for zone 6, which is in the backyard. Turn that on nice and slow, and I'll head to the back. And here we are. That's got air. That's got air. And over here, this one has air also. But still too much mist. Look at all that. No way. That's got to blow out for a bit. Let it run. Get this mist out of here. Hit it for a second go. 6 second blast. Oh yeah, just air. That's looking good. Over here, just air. And I am hearing and seeing a little water from here, but by the time this one empties that tank of air, it'll be plenty fine. And again, if there's just a trickle of water left in there, it's not going to hurt anything over the winter. Okay, time for zone 7, the last zone. Put that on nice and slow and easy. Let's go check it out. This is the farthest head on the zone, so that's the main one to watch. We got a lot of water yet. That's got some air. That one's still chooching pretty good there. And around here, this one looks pretty good already because this is the closest. And this also was that other one that I fixed before, just with a flat blade screwdriver. Okay, 7, final blast. So final zone, final blast. But we're not done after this, so stick around. There's a lot more to do. Just a tiny twist out of the last zone on the last head. We'll just let that tank go through. It'll be plenty fine enough. No problem at all. And incidentally, even if water stays in this head and pools in the 90-degree angle fitting that's in the ground there, and that freezes solid, it's okay, because it can expand up into the sprinkler and out into the line. So it's not putting any stress on that elbow fitting itself or on the pipe or on the sprinkler head. So it's perfectly fine if little pieces of it freeze. It's just when it's fully filled, then it can crack pipes. So now that we're all done, we're going to go ahead and unscrew this all the way. Get that off. Leave it there for now. Shut this valve all the way off. Like that. And this one also, just, it's here, so I do it. And that's that. And then we're going to go and shut everything down at the sprinkler control box. So now that all of the work outside is done, we can go ahead and turn the manual control all the way to off. No, I can't turn it one click that way. It stops there, so I have to turn it all the way back. Another thing I'm going to do, I had all of these set, except for zone 5, which is seldom used, and zone 8, which is not a zone at all, on 25 minutes, so I'll set it back there so I don't forget. There we go. Everything is all set. Do not unplug your sprinkler timer over the winter. Also, don't bother setting it for daylight savings time if it needs to be adjusted, because you're not going to be watering over that time period usually. So just don't look at the clock on it. Don't unplug it, because there's batteries in here and they'll get used up a lot faster, and will then lose your entire programming of when they're supposed to turn on, what days of the week, etc., all kinds of stuff like that. Just leave it plugged in and you will prevent so many other problems. But there's still work to do outside. Take a look. While you have the air out and pressurized ready to go, did you know that 78.3962% of garden hose failures occur over the winter? Statistics show that. They show a lot of other things. It's something to do with the mathematicals. This is great because this will connect right up to that, and I can blow the hose out right through here backwards. That's all fine and good. But what I'm going to do is actually hook it up another way. I want to blow it out forwards, and to do that I have this thing which I got from the orange store. This is an adapter which is a male hose thread to male hose thread. I'll take it out of the package. So here it is here, male to male hose thread. So that's going to screw in here like that. I'll tighten that up obviously, and then I can put my air right here onto that right over here. You might be asking, why do I want to do that? And that's because I got another hose reel in the backyard, and why not do it all at once, and I'll connect those together. But in the backyard I have the opposite problem. I got two of those and I need to couple them together. So here's the puzzle. Can you solve it? That's right. Here's the hose from the front. This is a washing machine hookup hose. There's different color washers in it. That's fine. It'll screw on just the same. And here's the backyard hose. So that's been disconnected. Actually, not true. It goes through this hose reel back over there. There's another hose that goes all around the backyard to here. I keep that on there so it, you know, this way I can find it. This puts water into the pool, which is closed for the season, obviously. So I have, I don't know, about 1,800 feet worth of hose or something, and we're going to just blow all of that out. Now, is that going to get all the water out? Not a chance in the world, especially because it's all coiled up in the hose reel. But it's going to be more than plenty enough for what we need. If you leave your hose out with water in it, it's going to freeze, it's going to break. There's bad things that are going to happen. Just get the water out. And I even have a bonus for you if you say, oh, well, I use the hose in the winter on warmer days to like rinse off the car from the snow and that. I got a fix for you as well. So now I have all of the hoses connected from the front to the backyard all the way through. Definitely not the best way to do this because of all of the loops in each of the hose reels and that. But it's much better than not doing it at all. You want to do them one at a time, you can go right ahead. But now I'm going to go ahead and put the air on here and blast this out. It comes out slow at first, but as more and more water comes out of here, it's going to go farther and farther and farther and farther. You see some air bubbles, but it's going to absolutely blast and be wild when it finally goes. So obviously there's quite a bit of water in this hose. We'll let this blast out a couple of times. You obviously know what to do right now with that. I recommend that you store the ends to your garden hose, the nozzles, indoors. If you have a shed, that's fine. Garage is great. Utility room, bedroom, where, you know, wherever you like to keep these things is just fine. So like I was saying, some of you might be saying, you know, well, I use the hose through the winter on days where it's like 45 and sunny and that. This is not, I can't blow this out. Well, I got a fix for you, like I said. That's right, it's an infomercial for the pocket hose. A lot of you had these and they've blown up on you, and for good reason, and it's because you used them wrong. The correct way to use these is to don't use them. What I am trying to tell you here is a real lightweight hose like this, although we all know these are total pieces of junk and they break and they pop in that, if you leave them out and you use them day to day to day, they're going to break. They are junk, and that's that simple. But over the winter, what do you use it? I don't know, 2-3 times a month, maybe, if that much. This will be perfect because you can go connect to your faucet, turn it on. Don't snag it in the bushes or get it caught on an iceberg on your lawn or anything like that. You can rinse your car off. It's nice and flexible. And when you're done, disconnect it, throw it over your shoulder, all the water comes out, and that's it. Really light duty usage. This will hold up for probably a good 5 years without you having a problem. Spend the 20 bucks or whatever it is, get one of these guys, and that'll serve you through the winter without destroying your really expensive garden hose. And because inflation, they're, I don't know, they got the prices now are about like $1 a foot, so a 100-foot hose like $100, something like that. So yeah, they got real costly. So get one of these things and that'll solve that problem. However, you may have been one of those weekend warriors over the summer. A pressure washer, that's right, blow that out too. Statistics have proven that 64.97826% of users with a pressure washer have had their pumps crack because they did not get rid of the excess water over the winter. Here's our air supply and the adapter, and that's where that goes in. I'm also going to hook the hose up to this pressure washer so we could blow all that out at once. It was used this summer. I don't know how much water is in it. There might be nothing, but better safe than sorry. Takes just a minute. So we got our air line coming in to the adapter. That goes where the garden hose goes. That goes out to the wand. Let's blow it out. All right, let's see if we get anything out. Oh, little bits. There you go. That could have frozen and damaged your pressure washer over the winter. So that really wasn't too difficult at all. Any problems I encountered along the way, I was able to take care of. There is no such thing as an insurmountable problem. Just put your mind to it. Flat blade screwdriver fixed the heads that wouldn't pop up before. And any other little snags I hit along the way, it was pretty much smooth sailing otherwise, but you never do know. Things can pop up. You can definitely surmount those problems, and you can blow your sprinklers out just like I showed you. If you'd like to see how I made the tool that allows you to administer air to the sprinkler system, I'm going to leave a link in the video description below so you can see how I built mine. Say, if this video helped you out, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons. That lets me know I did a good job making this video, and I can continue to provide them for you. Also, make sure you click on that big thanks button. It really helps me out, really helps the channel out. I appreciate it very much. Thanks once again for watching, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.